Hi guys, welcome to BoxPred. In this video I'm going to be giving my thoughts and my prediction on the recent fight that's been made between Juergen Braehmer and Nathan Cleverly. The fight is scheduled for the 2nd of April and it is for Juergen Braehmer's WBO Light Heavyweight Title, to which Nathan Cleverly is his mandatory. The fight is going to be in Wembley in England, here in the UK, and this surprises me a little bit because being the champion, I thought Juergen Braehmer would insist that the fight be in Germany, where he has fought practically all of his fights during his career. However, it's happened like this, and Cleverly's managed somehow to get the fight in the UK. So, right, my prediction for this fight is a victory for Nathan Cleverly by decision. So I do think that come April the 2nd, we will have a new light heavyweight world champion, and it will be a new British champion. Let's take a look at the records. Juergen Braehmer, the champion, has 36 victories, 2 losses, no draws, and a 76% knockout ratio. Nathan Cleverly has 21 victories, no losses, no draws, and a 47% knockout ratio. So Nathan Cleverly is undefeated at the moment. Just to give a brief introduction to Nathan Cleverly, for those of you who may not be familiar with him. He's from my neck of the woods. He's a fellow Welshman. And although I am excited about this fight and I have been following Nathan Cleverly, I will let you know that I have still looked at this fight objectively, and I, as always, have looked to give you as unbiased approach as I can and an honest opinion of how I feel this fight will go. So Nathan Cleverly, he up until last year he was sort of sharing his boxing career with a mathematics degree, which he's now graduated from and he's completed. And I feel the way he managed that was very professional, and he recognized that he needed to get a good education behind him and to complete his education before moving on really seriously with the boxing. However, it didn't really do him any harm because he kept winning and he's fought his way to be the mandatory challenger for the light heavyweight title. I think this is probably the best fight for him to get a title in the light heavyweight division. He's got the likes of Tavoris Cloud in there as well, who I think would probably be a bit tougher for him. But he's, in terms of his boxing, he's quite a rangy fighter. He reminds me a little bit of Paul Williams in that he's quite rangy and he throws a high punch volume. He's got pretty good stamina, and he's quite an exciting fighter. So he he can be quite aggressive coming forward, and he can overwhelm his opponent. He fought 2 fights ago. He fought an undefeated fighter by the name of Karo Murat. He fought him in Birmingham in the UK, and he basically stopped. The fight was stopped late on in favour of Nathan Cleverly because Nathan Cleverly pretty much just overwhelmed Karo Murat throughout the fight, and I do consider Karo Murat to be a pretty good fighter, a solid fighter, but he was overwhelmed by Nathan Cleverly's punch output and volume, and he didn't really do too much wrong, really. Karo Murat had a decent fight, but it was just he just couldn't contend with the high intensity that Nathan Cleverly was bringing. And I think that fight is, for me, a good blueprint to look at for this fight against Juergen Braehmer, because Juergen Braehmer is a solid fighter also, doesn't take too many risks. Karo Murat's very similar. Karo Murat kept a high guard like Arthur Abraham, but even that was not enough to stop Nathan Cleverly from overwhelming him and getting that stoppage. Nathan Cleverly also has a decent jab. He needs to do better with it, and he needs to use his range far more. Again, similarities to Paul Williams in that respect. Moving on to some negatives of Nathan Cleverly. Like I've said, he needs to work on using his range. He needs to also work on using his height because he fights in a very crouched position. If you check the videos of him, he does lean over crouched a lot, and he doesn't use his full height. You could see this as a positive or negative. I'm just saying, I believe that rangy fighters and taller fighters, he's about 6'1.5". They need to use their height and reach, and particularly in a fight like this for Nathan Cleverly, where my suggestions are that Nathan Cleverly boxes from the outside more than getting on the inside. Um, Another negative of Nathan Cleverly's is that he does have a suspect defense when he's on the attack. Um, Say I'm in an orthodox stance, right? So I got my right hand protecting my face, and I'm sort of giving my jab with my left. Now, normally fighters who are a bit more cautious will feel out the opponent, and they'll come in with the right when they feel there's less chance of a counter from the opponent. So they're leaving their chin exposed, but it's not going to be there's not going to be a chance for their opponent to get at it. Um, what Nathan Cleverly does for me, which he needs to work on, is he lets his both hands, when he's on the attack, lets his both hands come away too much from being able to defend, and he's all out attack and no defense. And he gets a bit careless sometimes when he's on the attack. And against Karo Murat, who can be a quality opponent when coming on the counter, and somebody who has skill themselves, um, he is liable to get hit, and he did get hit unnecessarily against Karo Murat and in some of his other fights as well. And I think that could work against him in this one. He needs to be very careful with somebody like Juergen Braehmer, who has a 76% knockout ratio and does have power that could end this fight. Um, so that's a big factor for me in this fight. How does Nathan Cleverly box clever? Also in the Karo Murat fight, which I will keep coming back to, because I do believe it is relevant. Um, at one stage when Nathan Cleverly went back to his corner, his promoter Frank Warren was shouting at the corner, "Box him," because Nathan Cleverly was trading with Karo Murat and he was coming inside with no real need. You know, he has the skills. He has the skill on the outside and the punch volume to be able to stay out of danger more than he does. And his corner reiterated this to him and said, "You need to box from the outside. You're trading with this guy. There's no need to." Unfortunately for Nathan Cleverly, he overwhelmed Karo Murat, but against a champion like Braehmer, who has more experience, he could come unstuck if he insists on coming on the inside. Which leads me to Juergen Braehmer's positives. He's a very solid fighter, takes less risks, doesn't take that many risks. He's quite a safe fighter, and he is very, very good on the inside. Juergen Braehmer for me. If you watch some of his fights, particularly his last fight, you'll see on the inside he has very good shoulder control. He'll push you off with the shoulder. He'll lean on you. He'll get his shots off. He's good on the inside. Basically, he's a seasoned guy who can um, take advantage of you on the inside. And I think he's a better inside fighter than Nathan Cleverly. Um, and like I've said, he's got power. He's got a knockout ratio that shows that. So, but then the negatives. I think that Braehmer can be controlled. He can be contained under pressure. And I think that Nathan Cleverly, if he boxes up from the outside here and keeps his punch volume up and tries to keep from getting caught on the inside too often, he can basically overwhelm Braehmer, um, and he can rack the rounds up, he can rack the points up. Um, I don't feel that Braehmer has had the best opposition put in front of him. He's had a protected time in Germany. If you look at his record, most of his fights in his career have been in Germany. He's very comfortable there. That's why I was surprised when he agreed to fight in the UK. And it is in Wembley. Cleverly will have a lot of support there. He has a lot of support from the British people. He's a British fighter, and they want another British champion. He'll be raring to go. He'll be fired up by this crowd. Whether that works against him or for him, we will see. But I think it's going to work for him. It's going to give him that extra fight, that extra adrenaline, and he is quite ferocious on the attack when he gets the adrenaline pumping. Nathan Cleverly's not the most powerful fighter, but he throws a lot of punches, and he's like Paul Williams. He can overwhelm the opponent. Um, and I just have this feeling with this fight that Juergen Braehmer doesn't really want this fight. He's not comfortable fighting Nathan Cleverly. He knows it's a dangerous fight. I mean, the last fight he fought is not the type of fight that a champion should be fighting. The guy he fought, I may be getting the guy's name wrong, but off the top of my head, is it Platansky? I'm not sure if that's right, but anyway, he had a 16-3 record. That's not the type of guys you should be fighting as a champion. Okay, we don't need champions like that in the sport. We need guys who are going to fight at least someone with some better opposition. Um, and you know, basically, I just think that Jurgen Braehmer is going to come up against a guy now that's going to give a lot more punch volume and output against him. And we know that Jurgen Braehmer, he obviously there was something, he caught the flu or something, but he pulled out of the fight against Shumanov, which would have been another test for him. But he couldn't pull out of this one. You know, Nathan Cleverly's the mandatory. And if he'd been sentenced in his recent court appearance, Juergen Braehmer, then Cleverly would have been given the title. Cleverly said he'd rather win it off Braehmer. I think he's going to do that on April the 2nd. Um, I think it's an exciting fight. Juergen Braehmer is a champion. He's not the most exciting guy in the world, and I do want Nathan Cleverly to win because I think Nathan Cleverly will be a more exciting champion who will bring the light heavyweight division more excitement, and he will bring it more passion and more want to fight the better fighters, which I hope he does, compared to what Jurgen Braehmer's been doing. But Jurgen Braehmer is no joke, of course, and he is going to be coming here to fight for his title. Um, he is a very solid fighter, and he'll give Nathan Cleverly a stern test. But I think Nathan Cleverly is going to give him more of a test, and I think Nathan Cleverly is going to win this on by points decision. I was tempted to think Nathan Cleverly would get the late stoppage, but I think although he's lost 2 fights, Braehmer's only lost those 2 fights on points. He's never been stopped, and I think Braehmer will go the distance. I think Nathan Cleverly's going to take this one on points. So a very exciting fight. Thank you for watching my video. Please do leave me your comments. I know there are going to be conflicting views on this one. People are going to disagree with me or agree with me. I'm very interested to hear what you guys think. Please do leave your comments on here or on my homepage. And if you do like my videos, please do subscribe. Thank you for watching. This is BoxPred and I'm out.